Hello, fellow UBC members and members of the Wiwingti Sword Supply forums. I'm going to do a little mini review here on what was to be the Wiwingti Sword Supply Shobu. We all know what happened there. No fault of Mark's. It was just a screw up with the forges. So this is what we ended up with. The initial reaction, of course, was, hey, that's not what I ordered. But I think for the most part, me personally and a lot of others are actually quite happy with what we ended up with. This is quite different than anything else I have. 13 inches here on the tsuka. I really like that. I don't have anything that's quite that long. Most of them are 12 or under that I own. I really like the longer. The fittings are not great, we know that. The fake same, that's been covered. The same was originally to add a strong binding around the tsuka core. But nowadays the woods are better, they're making good stuff, and they're wrapping it well, and the same doesn't actually go around on most katanas we buy. So that binding, sealing purpose isn't there anymore anyway. This is a nice even look. It actually feels almost rubberish, which would, I guess, the same also helps provide grip for the ito to stay in place because it's coarse, it's rough. And this is actually almost like a rubbery feeling, so I guess it serves the same purpose. The saya is beautiful. I really like it. It's a matte finish, but it isn't a pedally, bumpy matte finish like some of them. It's a smoother matte finish. It's tipped. That feels like almost like a hard rubber on the end. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's plastic or I doubt if it's real horn. Same as the Koiguchi has been reinforced. The ito is wrapped really nice. It doesn't alternate, but it is nice and tight. And and to me, tightness is the main thing, especially for a sword I'm going to be using quite a bit. We have the Wiwingti Sword Supply Tsuba. Of course, unique to Mark and his company. This little design on it is very personal to Mark. I actually designed these tsubas as well as the UBC tsubas. So I'm kind of happy with the way it turned out because I designed it for Mark to his specifications. He wanted something like this. I added the W for Wiwingti, which Mark liked to point out that if you turn it upside down, it's also M for Mark, eh? So that's kind of neat. We're going to have a look at this in a minute, but let's have a look at the blade here. This is really unique, and I am actually kind of happy that we ended up with these. I don't have a shobu configuration, but I also don't have anything like this, where it narrows here on the top, and this partial bohi, and then the long, narrow, thin bohi that goes almost right to the kisaki. And it's good and sharp. It's a really nice blade configuration. I really like that. It's totally different. Another thing that I was thinking when the first pictures popped up of these, when the first one started to arrive, I looked at the pictures and I thought, you know, that red is kind of a little brighter than I was thinking it was going to be. But in person, now that I have my own in my hand, looking at it, it actually is a darker, nicer, more elegant red, and it is really a blood red like it was ordered as. So let's take this thing apart and see what it looks like inside. Here's our first look at the Unokubi from Wiwingti Sword Supply disassembled. First thing we're going to notice, long tang. That nakago is very long, which is great to see on a sword that has such a long tsuka. You can see that even once the habaki is on the blade here and mounted up, this nakago, this tang goes just about right to the end of this long 13-inch tsuka. Pretty standard habaki. Nothing outstanding about it, but also not noticeably cheap or anything like that. Decent quality there. We know the other fittings aren't great, but to be perfectly honest, I've seen a lot worse. So, you know, mediocre, but acceptable. Now, the fake same is panels. It is, like I said, it's actually a kind of a rubber, which is actually better, I think, than what we figured it was, some kind of plastic. It's actually a rubber, which I guess helps with the grip of the ito. The core is wonderful. It's really a solid wood. It's well made. It's very centered up nicely. I've seen some cores that look like a wood that would easily crack. This is really well made, really good and solid. I don't know how good you can see it in my camera there, but I'm really happy with this. This whole assembly is actually pretty nice, and the fit of the tsuka on the Nakago was quite a good, solid, tight fit, well fitting. The kugi pegs are very well made, solid. I guess they could be bamboo, but again, I've seen worse. They're actually good quality ones. They didn't split or crush or anything when I took them out. And so that's about it. The seppa is standard, stamped out brass. Your average. The tsuka, the suba. I love these. The Wiwingti suba. Not much to say about them. The Forge did a really good job stamping them out, as well as stamping out our UBC custom subas. And it's really nice to have something unique like that. Okay, so I'm going to put this thing back together, and we'll go out and chop up a pool noodle or something out in the snow. Nothing fancy here today, folks. Just going to do a little test cutting, and just using a pool noodle. It's a little cold and windy. I don't really feel like soaking mats and trying to get into that whole thing today. And excuse the boots, but hey, snow, and it's below freezing out here, so I won't be long at this. Okay, my initial impression of this was I really liked it. After disassembling it and doing a little light cutting with it, I really, really like it. It cuts great, feels really nimble and light in the hands. I love the longer tsuka. And if the pool noodle is any indication of how well it cuts, I can't wait for spring to get out and cut some tatami with this. I think it's going to be a premium cutter in my collection for sure. It feels really light, like I said, and I'm a little rusty and out of practice with the cutting, so I imagine my cutting was pretty sloppy looking, but overall, that's a great little sword. I'm real happy with it. Thanks, Mark.